Hi friends, this is Gail O'Neill, and I teach stamping. I hope you enjoy. This is all embossed with vellum. Right before when I was waiting, I did this one. Let me see if I put something behind it, if it'll show better. But you can see, like from the back, these pieces, these were put through embossing folders, and you'll get some of that white. This one, the tufted, I put through the folder. And then if you put it against black, a colored, dark color, you see the white of the vellum. But if you color it, then you'll see more of what the vellum is. Here's one. Now this is the basket weave, so normally this would be the correct side. Let's see, something lighter. Okay, so this would be the correct side, and it still looks good. This is the side I colored it on, and I'm going to color one in a moment. I see Linda came in, and the other Deborah. We've got both Deborahs. So this is actually the wrong side, but it looks awesome when you do that. Let me just find the blank one. It disappeared, and I thought I was so organized tonight. Ha 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 ha. I redid. Oh, it's right there in front of me. All right, so I'm going to do this one first. So these bumps on the back is actually the wrong side, but when you take some, we'll use some soft suede, and I think so I don't mess up this paper, let me grab something to go under it better. So I'm just, look at that come to life. And this one actually looks better on something light. And this is just, you know, direct. And it's quick. But you do, like on vellum, your ink doesn't dry, you know, really quick. But look how nice that looks. I'll lift it up. So whether you use the whole piece as a background or just part of it. So that's one thing. That was this and that. This one, what I did, let me get rid of this. And of course I had a play, so I kind of knew what I was going to do. Come on. So where's the other sponge? Alright, we'll just try the edge of this one. So this one, I actually did both sides. And then on the one side, I took a marker and just did those indentations. So also, whether, you know, you use the whole piece, but it really looks better on something light, and you can put it to any color. Depends on what you're doing, what you want it to look like. So that's coloring the embossing with the embossing folders. Now Oh, let me do this one. Look at this. Look at that. That is that beautiful butterfly. And what you do, and of course, because I did part of it, first I take wax paper and I go over the back. And then you take the stylus, which just moved. Okay. So you just take the stylus and bring that around. Now you don't want to go too heavy because you'll rip the paper, and I did, like, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little tear. So it won't matter really if you get a couple little tears so you don't really see them. But you just want like an even pressure without going too heavy, and it turns it white, which is really awesome. But then with this, and I'm not gonna do the whole thing, I'll, you know, finish it later and make a card out of it. But this one, let's see, that I want to be the orange. So what I did, I colored directly on this side, and a lot of times with vellum you color on the back to give it like that stained glass look. Oh, that's the darker one. Duh. Duh. Okay, so the darker one goes there. And then because it's wet, so when you bring the lighter one, it'll blend that. And it just gives it that extra dimension. And I found it was better with the regular markers than it was with the blends. So this one I used, let's see, Bermuda Bay and Pool Party. So you just take, and again, the darker color to the back, and then bring in the lighter color and blend it in. You can always go back and, you know, add a little more if you want. If you think, you know, it needs a little bit darker somewhere. If it gets onto the black, you won't see it. You could also emboss it with the heat powder and try this. So it's really easy, and that is just so bright. I love the way that one came out. All right, so let's do this one. And I pre-stamped it. And with this one, I did color it from the back. And I didn't color, you know, the white. So I took and colored in the leaves, and it goes pretty fast. So I did the lighter color, whichever, you know, two colors you decide on. And then brought in a darker color. If you want to go around your flowers so it would show shadow, then go back with the light and blend in your color. And again, you can go in and put, you know, a little bit more dark, but you can, I hope you can see it. There, you can see that there's two shades there. So I'll quickly do these, and then we'll do some of the embossing. And again, when you're using a brush point, you want to, unless you're getting into a very small corner, you really want to use the side of it. and just fill in the color. And that one goes right in between there. It's funny, I'm treating these like they're the blends, and really I can leave the caps off. It won't bother them like it does the alcohol. You get into that habit. I'm going to try it. Let's see. The caps do fit on the other side. Now I feel like I'm holding something like really big. So then just go back and blend it. Okay, I'll just do a little bit in here, and then we're going to start the embossing part of it. Yep, this one goes to this one, and that one's on the floor, so we'll get it later. Okay, so we're on the opposite side. I'm just going to do the centers. Okay, and if you didn't see this, it'll be available in September. But it's got two sides. It's got the other piece with your poker. And then this is for picking up little pieces. So I just go in, and it's like kind of like coloring, but what I didn't do, and I can feel it. You'll feel that it's so much smoother when you put a little wax paper. You can also, you can go back and put a, just run this on it, and it'll make it smoother. It also kind of keeps it from tearing as fast because it's not dragging. So I kind of like to get my outline and get some quick coloring in there, and then go back and fill in. I wonder how that looks. See, now that actually, let's put that there. Just doing like the lines that way and not totally doing it, it gives it a whole different look. So there's a lot to play with doing this. So you can leave it feathered, and it kind of gives it a shaded look. I think we'll leave that one that way. But when you turn it over, if you think, you haven't gone close enough to an edge, you just give it a quick look and then go back and fill in a little more. And it doesn't really take that long either. I mean, I'm moving right along with it. So when you've done all that, really starting to take shape, but when you've done all that, then it looks like that. So we're going to put this together. And what I did, this is the wood grain paper. And let's see, I think I made that one smaller on purpose. Yes, okay. So I'm just going to take and tack it in the corners. You're not going to see any of that. I should get the sides a little bit too. Okay, let's make sure that I don't have to trim, and I don't. So we're going to take this time a little liquid glue. Don't be stubborn, glue. And you want to get a little bit by the frame. And I think starting Sunday, I'll start showing more from the holiday catalog. I know I still snuck this in because it's only available this month. And there's so much to do with it. So many different cards. Okay, and then we're gonna put these dimensionals. I'm still not good at that trick. Let's try it again. I think the way to do it is straight up. Oh, that one's off. Is straight up and down seems to work better. And a flick. Come on. Behave. It did. One more. All right. But when it works, they're all in one spot. Okay, so let's get this as even as I can. And then I pre-did the bow, and this is new ribbon coming out. Black with all these beautiful shiny silver bits in it. And then rather than put something across it, I borrowed from Vertical Greetings, the congrats. Oh, and the other thing, when you're coloring on vellum, you want to stamp with the StazOn. And it does take a little bit to dry, so you either want to take your heat gun, but if you're going to use your blends, then you're going to use that one. Okay. And then I took the classic label, and it just fit perfectly. And we're going to use the little minis this time. Whoa. And then that went right there. Pretty, right? So I'll do one more. I'll finish this one. Because it was just so fast and easy. Just in case somebody came in late. And this one you can kind of leave definitely with some like curls and just streak it a little bit. It'll look more like feathers. So when we turn it over, we've got that. And then I used Petal Pink, wrong side. So I went over the whole thing with Petal Pink. And then this can get cut out. This particular one has a die for it. So you can cut that either before or after you do the coloring. Look how fast that is. Just throw in a little bit of color. And then blend it again. And then you can, while it's wet, dab a little off. And that's it. That's it. So I'll bring back these two cards. And I'll let you know my cousin passed her swallowing test today, so now she'll be able to have real food. She's asking for a hot fudge sundae, but she's doing amazing. Thanks for all the prayers. It's definitely working. So thank you for joining me tonight. I hope that you enjoyed this and it gives you some ideas. And I hope when you do something that you share it with me so I can have some other ideas also. Thanks again, and I'll see you on Sunday. Good night.